grew a beard, but I had shaved off because Tammy was a baby then and it made her face really bad.
Ah.
So I had to shave it off.
Okay, so here's a question, and maybe there isn't one, but I want to ask it. Are there any hidden historical gems or secrets on Main Street? Yeah. Like, do we have an entrance to a tunnel? Like, is there a tunnel under Main Street?
I don't know about that, but it's something I've thought about. Right where you want to build your museum. When I first remember, that belonged to Hugh Allen. And he sold whippets out of there. And there used to be a gas pump right here right by the sidewalk. And I'm still wondering if anybody ever dug that gas tank up.
Whoa. I'm not sure that'd be a hidden gem. That'd be the wrong kind of gem.
It'll be a gem, all right.
Yeah, in the middle.
I have an ashtray that came from that store, and he sold whippets, and my grandparents bought a whippet, and I have that ashtray.
And a whippet's a car, right?
Whippet car.
Yeah, not everybody knows that.
I was thinking it was a dog, and I was just gonna ask. Isn't there a dog that's called a whippet? Okay.
I still have that whippet, but I disassembled it, and I'm not going to get it put back together.
So was it a toy car? Was it a big,
Regular car.
just a regular sized car?
Yeah, 4 doors.
I'm gonna have to Google that. Janet's already on it. She's Googling it right now.
Made by Willie's.
Ah. So no secrets, no hidden gems on Main Street.
Not that I can think of, I'm sure you were.
We used to have a fenced off place right in the middle of it.
Used to be a fenced off place. That's where the old bandstand was.
City well.
No,
City well?
City well was there, and then they put it looked like two things that was pointed here, and then it went out around like that. And then they had the well in there, and then they had
Santa Fe Trail Mall.
Santa Fe Trail marker, which is in front of the post office. Right?
Has some pictures I saw.
Of course, you've got pictures of the bandstand, don't you?
We do.
Yes.
Yep.
As a matter of fact, we have some mugs, coffee mugs in the back that have the bandstand on them, and also the old high school.
One thing that you haven't mentioned is, Dale, your dad worked over here at the, at Hoyt's.
That's why we moved back here.
My dad would figure out some way to get in here one time a day so he could go talk to Wilbur Fox and hear all the new dirty stories.
We did have a plethora of stories.
They had a joke for the preacher every week.
Oh, yeah.
Lloyd said that he worked over there too. He said that the little old ladies would come walking and they'd slow down as they went by the door so they could listen to Wilbur's story.
Probably wouldn't walk in, but they were going to go as slow as possible by the door.
You know, the little girls would come walking by after school and then they'd start running. His dad would be down there taking that water out of the ice. There was icy cold because he piped it through a refrigerator and he had cold water when he went by and threw it over his feet.
Your dad sounds like he was something else.
Yeah,
So, does anybody remember the well, or was there just a... So when was the well taken out?
I can't tell you that.
I can't even,
I'm not sure, but after it went out, when they still had it out there, they put that thing in there. They also put a tree up into this Christmas tree up into.
I was just telling Wade, I think I remember the Christmas tree when I was a kid, but I wasn't very old.
No,
I'm a teenager.
They
when they took the well out.
You have to make a circle around it.
It was, yeah.
My question is I have heard that several people have taken the crosswalk sign out. How many people ran into the well?
I don't know, several people run into that thing they had around it.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's why they took it out, because somebody kept
Did-
getting it.
Did we used to park in the middle of?
they filled the well, they
Yes.
Yes, there was parking.
Yes.
Saturday nights, it would be absolutely full. The entire town was here, the people were there, they had
Oh, yeah.
cars were like this in the middle of the street, and down the street, both.
All ages of people?
Yeah,
That
that
was
was
the
the,
time to visit.
yeah, they did 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock at night or.
That was a big thing to go to town on
That's
Saturday.
Saturday night.
Well, that's
The bank seems to,
what they do.
The bank stayed open until like 8 o'clock?
yeah.
Wow.
what we did. I remember the first Saturday night that we were all in town and we had street lights. When the street lights, remember that?
Yeah.
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 That was, made us feel like a big town.
So you remember when the street lights were installed?
Not these, but others.
Yeah. And that was a big deal.
Oh, boy.
Was it before or after the running water?
Oh, before.
Oh,
Running water wasn't up till 1953. I know because I was in the service and I'd stored my car up here on 4th Street at Bill Madden's garage. And that garage is still there. And I had a chance to come home and get my car. And they had a trench dug about 4 or 5 feet deep and so wide behind that garage, and I couldn't get my car. Good old Bud Kaufman, a lot of people know Bud Kaufman, or knew Bud Kaufman. He came to my rescue. He got some planks somewhere. We planked it out of there.
across the trench.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And I know that was in July of 1953.
Well, I'm pretty sure this could be a very dangerous question, or because I heard stories myself. And then we just talked about your dad was a really crazy storyteller, but are there any buildings on Main Street that if they could talk, they'd tell a story? And Patty, don't say, I'm not gonna tell.
Probably have one.
I love it.
That's the word.
So Jessica, can I break in here?
Yeah.
I remember a story on you.
Uh-oh. This is gonna be a topic story, isn't it?
It's a topping story, and my dad thought every kid should grow up around the counter at toppings on the stool and have a Coke,
Chocolate Coke,
chocolate Coke.
this big.
And so anyway, Dad would pick up you and Scott and bring you into town. Well,
He'd pick us up from kindergarten.
at kindergarten. And so, what year would that have been? You got that figured out?
1980.
Okay.
I was born in 75. I was 5 in kindergarten, so.
So Dad was quite the talker, and Jessica was saying, Grandpa, can I have a dime? Can I have a dime? I want some gum. And he said, no. He thought every kid should hear the word no once in a while. And he said no. So as they're going north toward home, 4 miles north of town, 4.5, and Jessica is chewing gum. And Dad looks over at her and he says, where did you get that gum? You stole that gum. And she said, Grandpa, I didn't steal the gum, but you've got gum in your mouth. So he Any
Myths.
local, what?
Myths or legends? Like anybody famous ever come into town?
A little Jimmy Dickens.
I don't know who that
I have a poster of that.
Yeah, I was on the fair board, we had him here at the fair one year.
is. Oh, he came into he was on at the fair?
Yeah, he was pretty neat. It was pretty
When we
neat.
have that came to the.
Used to have wrestling, remember?
Yeah,
This.
yeah,
Yeah, Cliff Disco. Cliff Disco.
yeah.
What kind of wrestling?
Oh, like they do on TV.
real-
Where they have-
Like the WWF or whatever it is?
They weren't quite that rough, but they were pretty rough.
Well, they had a couple guys wrestle bears up at the fairground.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, I thought you meant guys wrestling.
Yeah.
I didn't hear you say bears.
Yeah,
They wrestle bears.
Cliff Disco.
Yep, yep, oh heck, yes, I remember.
What were you talking about? Yeah.
I was just, we had somebody that came to put on a music show during the fair because we had it over at junior high.
The midget?
No, I don't know.
I can't remember.
The little midget, what was it?
Like
John?
Dad, when he was on. I don't remember.
The little midget, don't you remember the little midget? Johnny, what was his name?
Did he sing?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
He had a beautiful big tall blonde wife, and he was a midget. Oh, come on, you guys, somebody.
I can't think of it.
We'll eventually figure it out.
I can't, are you sure you know?
Anybody else famous?
Well, my dad knew Joey Chitwood. He was a stoat car driver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember him?
Race
He came to us.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, part of the movie Kansas was filmed at the fair.
Dickens, little Dickens. Dickens was his last.
She finally remembered it.
Dickens, little Johnny Dickens, little Dickens.
It just don't ring a bell, right?
Don't you remember that little midget?
Yeah, little Jimmy Dickens.
Yeah.
That was it. He died in 2015, little Jimmy Dickens.
He died in 2015,
Sure
huh?
enough, yeah.
And he came to the
What a nice
fair.
looking man. Good cowboy
I
hat.
got a picture of my.
Play guitar.
When we were in Nashville, he's got they put a thing up there, she's exactly, standing right inside. Yeah, they got a statue of him there.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay. So I think Patty, this might be in your cup of tea here, and maybe even Dawn, because there have been at least, 3 bank robberies in Overbrook? Do either of you or anybody else remember them?
I certainly remember one.
Still have the money?
Was he the good guy or the bad guy?
July the 9th, 1965, I won't forget that day.
Wow.
But I think that was before yours too.
Yeah, and I don't remember the year, but I remember going to work one morning and walking in and
Well,
just the vault had been broken into from the ceiling. So when the vault door was open,
I was a cop then.
oh, it was
I'll tell you,
I'm glad I didn't find it, because the week before they had vandalized the thing over in Osage City, got a bunch of guns and everything from that over there. So I'm glad I didn't find it.
I'd like to tell you about one of the, I can say about both the robberies I remember while I was working at the bank. I was there 46 years. The first one was just before Jenny and I got married, and I bought an engagement ring and the wedding ring set, and I'd given her the engagement ring, but the wedding ring was in the glove box of our car, and I was just there for 2 or 3 months or longer, and she said, "Well, put it in the lockbox, and when they cut a hole in the roof like they did there and broke into our vault, and they robbed my lockbox.
That was great.
Is Jane sad that she told you to put it in there? Perhaps your glove box was safer than the bank at that point.
Well, it sure was.
So the bank wasn't open though when it was robbed?
No, that was at night. The time it was open was July 9th, 1965. And Lorraine Harf was there. Joyce Dillon Joyce didn't work all the time, but I called her in that day for some reason because John was in California. Anyway, she had worked there prior. And so she was there, and there was several of us there. Larry Corson had worked there, and he was home on leave. But this guy came in the front door. I was in that front office with all the glass, and I was talking to a banker in Pekin, Sims Firestone. But this guy came in, and I saw he had a gun. He went to the center teller's window and held up Lorraine and had her empty the cash drawer. And about that time, Larry Corson walked in, and of course, he'd worked there, and he just walked around behind the counter. He didn't even notice that. And then he had his camera sitting there. There was a parade going on over there. And then he turned around and walked in my office, and I said, Larry, don't say anything. The bank's saying right. And he said, what?
He didn't need to caution.
He turned around and walked back out there.
Behind the counter?
Well, by that time, the guy was going out the door, and Larry chased him. He got in his car and chased the guy, and back then, with Osage County only had 2 officers, sheriff and undersheriff, but they were both in town for the parade, and so while I was talking to Sims Firestone at the Purchase National Bank in Topeka, I said, Sims, we're being robbed, hang up and call the law. Well, he did, and got the guy out of the glove. So